I have a fun little thing that happened to me I'd like to share with you guys. That is...
I'm open to hearing about it.
If that's open with the court. I guess. It appeases the court.
Only because it's not my podcast. If it was my podcast, I'd be fucking livid.
So I had to go get blood drawn or whatever, and when I walk into this NYU place to get a blood drawn, usually, there's the receptionist, and then there's the office that you go into to get the blood drawn. And this woman, the second I walk in, she's like the receptionist, and she immediately just goes, Do you have COVID? Have you had a fever or chills in the last 48? Like, she goes through this checklist that you can tell she said to every single person walking in before they enter. And just like, it's got to be killing her, right? Yeah. So she goes, you can sit down right here, which is at the corner of her desk. And this is in the doorway of the opening of the place. And I go, okay. And she goes, you can fill out this paperwork. I fill it out. And she goes, all right, roll up your sleeves. So she is now the receptionist and the phlebotomist in the archway of the doorway of I don't even know what's back there in the office.
I didn't know phlebotomist was a thing until this moment.
I just learned that, and I just assumed that I was dumb. So I muscled through it.
Thank God I spoke up for us.
Thank God.
We don't even know if that's real.
I would have walked away from this just being, what a fucking idiot.
I think you both still should.
What's a phlebotomy?
The people who take blood.
Yeah.
Phlebotomist?
Yes.
A Draculis.
Look,
I'm
boom.
sorry.
Phlebotomy.
Oh, and I definitely didn't think it was pH.
Well, that part took us all by surprise, but...
Yeah.
Now, I will say, so the woman is, I'm thrown because I'm sitting here, in the waiting room, and the woman, and there's other people sitting all around me, and she's the receptionist, and she's going to take my blood, so she ties me off while someone else walks in, and she goes, have you done that? Do you have COVID? Have you had a fever in the last 2 days?
While
have you
she's
traveled out to
administering?
while she's starting to pull the blood. So I'm starting to get a little worried here, and I'm just trying to make conversation again, just like I talked about in the vaccine story, about just to try to get my mind off the fact that you're about to rip blood out of my body via a steel needle. So,
what a hilarious way to put it, as if they're just forcefully ripping it from your body, and your blood is clinging to the vein.
She was holding my wrist while stabbing downward. No! Just the nails of my blood are ripping off. So she starts putting in there or whatever and the fuck like that, and she starts, and we're just trying to talk, and I'm just trying to make conversation. I go, how many times have you had to say that whole spiel today? And she's like, you have no idea. It's absolutely. I was like, can't you just put up a sign?
Yeah. She's like, almost as many as I've had to have this follow-up.
Yeah. I go, why don't you put up a sign? She goes, I've talked about them. I've talked about a sign to them. Don't bring up the sign. She's getting upset now. And I'm like, again, you don't want someone with a sharp stabbing object to be not in a good mood. So I'm trying to brighten her day up. And it's early in the morning. I haven't eaten. I haven't even had coffee yet because whatever, the blood. And so she starts taking out the blood and she goes, she goes, how's it going? Just checking in on me, which was nice of her. And I go, yeah, it's good. I'm like, it's not my favorite process to happen. And then she goes, yeah, she goes, I guess it would be, some people really must enjoy it or whatever. And I go, yeah, I mean, if they do, that's a weird, if they're just into the blood.
Kink shaming.
Yeah. Here I am. Come get me. And I just was like, she was like, yeah, if you want to take out the blood, she goes, I guess that would be a weird thing. And I go, yeah, that's also a very expensive fetish. And the way I said expensive fetish just tickled this woman to a level that I was not prepared for. Just crushed in the room with this phlebotomist. She is cackling up a storm.
How's the rest of the room?
The rest of the room is now curious as to what I said that crushed so hard with this woman. And she was like, it would be an expensive fetish. She goes, all right, honey, you're done. She takes my arm thing off. I go in there. I start getting my coat on. She calls the next person over. The next guy comes down, and you can see immediately he's trying to ride the wave, or he's like, oh, okay.
He's a one-liner, but he's trying to be high energy.
Yeah. He sits down and he's like, crazy day. I think as I was walking out, I definitely heard him say, how many times have you had to say those things?
No.
And immediately she was just shut back down.
That's when you shit on the host who crushed, and they're like, we liked him.
Yeah.
We don't like you yet.
But it's so fun when you can make somebody laugh in a non-comedy club. You crush in a real world environment. I was like, I felt good for the rest of the day. I was walking around. I was like, this is fun.
I hitched my step.
Yeah.
I'm lightheaded because I have no blood and no food.
Yeah.
I just have low blood sugar, I think. The whole thing was a hallucination. I don't even know.
Yeah.
It sounded like you got your blood let in Honduras or something. There was no.
Yeah, they were pouring it into banana leaves for some reason, but.
That's when you want to make your Irish goodbye.